are live. It's the Earlene and Steven show. Earlene, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're sorry for the delay, but we had some technical issues, but Steven figured it out.
A few technical issues, I think. I'm still having them. Looky here, I'm so crazy. There you are.
You
Now
got
you're
it?
good. Yeah, I got it. It's just crazy. Technology and me sometimes don't go very well. We got a special guest today, Earlene. You want to introduce?
I do. Our special guest today is Brian Bailey.
Yeah.
And the way I came to know this man is, so my grandniece was visiting from Texas a couple of weeks ago.
Don't mention Texas.
Texas.
I know. Some people around here call me the greasy-haired Texan.
I've heard that. I have heard
It's very condescending.
Anyway, she wanted to go over to Corden. So we went over to Corden, and on the way coming back, she said, "Hey, there's a thrift store over there. Can we stop at a thrift store?" Because she and I both
Oh, yeah. Love thrift stores.
We do. And it's kind of set up on a hill. It took us a second to figure out how to get there. We got there, we parked, we go in. We're looking around at the thrift store. It's very nice, by the way. And then I start chit-chatting with the lady that's in there. And then her husband came in, and we started talking about it. And then he proceeded to tell me what he's going to share with you guys today. And I said, well, as it happens, I'm the editor of The Messenger right across the river. Do you mind if I write a story about you? And he was like, oh, my gosh, I would be thrilled.
Right.
So, Brian Bailey, say hello.
Brian Bailey.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me, first of all. I wish my wife could be here with us today, but she's at home. She's
Sure.
we just had to take her to get an MRI done, so I just want to first off say thank you for having me, and she wishes she could be here. So.
Yeah, we wish she was here too. So
It's a crazy story, right? First of all, I want to tease this a little
Okay,
bit.
all right,
I want to
all
tease
right,
this a
let's
little bit. Now, I said a long time ago, and you may not remember this, but I said, there's some really cool stuff just right across the bridge.
he did.
And we should really take a look at some of these things. So your encounter, it's like a God thing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I want to tease in with that because there's nothing I've done here at the Messenger that has not been inspired by my faith, religion, and my belief in community and serving the community.
Absolutely.
And then, so here you are, randomly
stop in at this place.
weren't even thinking about the conversation we had had previously, and it's just at your own vice to
Right.
go and do this.
Yep.
And then, boom, here we
Boom.
are.
Right. And so the name of the business, Brian, is?
Well, the thrift store is called South Pole Village Community Thrift Store. There's a lot to that name. It's a big mouthful, but we get the South Pole because we're at the very bottom of our county. And then village because of the type of the thing that we are is it's you've heard the expression, it takes a village.
Right.
We feel like that all of our people that come to us, our customers, if you will, they are our village. And as we get more into this and you figure out what we are, you'll understand that. But and then it really is. It's a community thrift store, but it's not your normal store, as it were. We're more of a fundraiser than anything.
Yeah, the first thing that we noticed when Madison and I went in, but for one thing, it's pretty high-end stuff. Everything in it is really nice stuff. Lots of brand names, things like that. It's kept really well. It's very attractive. And so we picked up a couple of things, and there were no price tags.
Right.
And your wife was behind the counter, and I held up a cup or something, and I was like, ma'am, do you happen to know how much these are? And she said to me, well, you just pay what you feel that you should pay. And we were stunned by that. And so she said, we don't put prices on anything. What we do is we encourage people to come in, and if they need something, if someone truly needs an item from here and they just don't have any money, then we just encourage them to take it. Just take it. But if you come in and you find some stuff and you want it, then we just ask for a donation.
Yeah, let me back up and say, first and foremost, we never set out to become a thrift store. That was never, ever anybody's idea. First and foremost, we wanted to raise some funds or collect some toys. Let me take you back to 2019, and it's Christmas. It's the 1st of December. It's COVID. It had just hit, and everybody was supposed to be on lockdown, and my wife and I, living over in Central, which is right across the bridge, you go across the bridge over into Indiana, into Harrison County, and you go about 6 miles up, and you hang a left onto Heath Washington Road, and you go back in the sticks a few miles, and that's where we are. And there's a Dollar General store there at the corner of Heath Washington and Highway 135. And I don't know that I'll ever forget the day that I went up there, and I can't even remember what it was I was getting, but while I was there, I noticed there was an organization that had a box set out by the door, and they had been collecting toys up until that day. And I just so happened to be there at the same time the guy was picking up the box with the toys. And I said, "Where do you guys give those toys away, around here?" And I was expecting to be told, a church or someplace close by, but the answer I got was, "Well, we don't really give them away around here. They take them back to New Albany, and then they to a distribution center, and then they distribute them there." And that ran all through me because I know lots of families immediately right there that need that kind of help. And it just seemed like a slap in the face to those families to say, "Hey, will you all donate some toys that we're going to take elsewhere and give to other kids?" And I just
Yeah.
So as I'm driving back home, I'm talking out loud to God, and I'm mad, and I'm just going, "That's not right. That's not right." And I swear to you, I keep hearing back in my head, like my own words being thrown back at me. "Well, then do a toy drive. Well, then do something about it. Do a toy drive. Do your own toy drive."
And that's how God is lots of times. He tells us.
It really was that simple. So I got home, and I was all fired up, and I told my wife, "Hey, we got to do a toy drive." Well, then what? Then came the questions. Well, who do we give the toys to? Where are we going to put the toys? We had no idea. I just know I was told to do a toy drive. So we asked the church next door to us, "Hey, if we collect toys, can we store them in your basement?" They said, "Sure." I had a key to the church anyway, so they more or less just let me just do what I wanted to do. And we asked the manager at the Dollar General store up at the corner, "Can we collect some toys? Now that they're out here and got their box, can we collect some, and we'll make sure they go to kids around here?" So that's what we did. Is we went up. Well, that's what was the plan anyway. But for one whole week it sat, and this is really kind of irrelevant, but I want to show you the power of God in my life. Because even though He had said, "Do a toy drive," I let it sit for like a week and just let it fizzle out. And we didn't really do anything. But a week later, a good friend of mine showed up with a $50 bill and 3 Hot Wheels and said, "Hey, are you still doing that toy drive?" And after I hemmed and hawed around for a minute, he handed me the $50 bill and the 3 Hot Wheels and said, "Go get started." So we did. We went up to the parking lot of Dollar General, and
As you go, it says in the Bible to minister as you go. Look at that. Isn't that crazy?
so we set out a table in the parking lot, and I had to be 30 degrees, I guess, a windy day. And we asked the Dollar General for 2 boxes and some wrapping paper, and we literally just wrapped up 2 empty boxes to look like presents. And I tell you, I was blown away by the amount of people that just started buying toys, and not just at the Dollar General store. People were going to Walmart, going to other stores. People were driving to Jeffersonville and to Clarksville and to E-Town to buy toys and bring them back and make sure that we got them, because we told them we were going to make sure that they went to the kids right there in that community, in our community. Well, next thing we know, 2 weeks goes by, and we've been collecting toys just about every day for 2 weeks, and we've got that church basement full.
Yeah.
To the point where they said, "Hey, we need our space back. It's Christmas time. We've got Christmas dinners, and So not knowing what we were going to do with all those toys. Now, when I say all those toys, we had about $10,000 worth of merchandise. And
in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
2 weeks' time.
You collected $10,000 worth of toys. That's excellent.
In 2 weeks' time. And not a clue how or who to give it to or how to give it back out. And so, again, I said, "All right, God, what do I do now?" Well, the school resource officer at the high school, or I'm sorry, the elementary school, at Heath Washington Elementary School, that guy, you talk about a stellar individual. That guy was already used to helping the families get Christmas. And he struggled all year long trying to pull his resources together to try to get those families their Christmas that they needed. Well, what we did is we went to him and we said, "Hey, would you like to be in charge of giving all this out? Because you know the families."
Yeah.
And he said, sure, yeah, I'll be more than happy to. So that took care of that problem. Now, where are we going to do this? Well, God answered that one without me even really asking him how. Squire Boone Caverns, if you guys know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Right across the
Several
river.
times. Yep.
We did not know those people. They did not know us. There was no affiliation whatsoever. But out of the blue, the manager that runs Squire Boone Caverns reached out to me and said, hey, we heard that you needed a place to give away your toys. We have a cabin we're not using out on the highway. Would you like to use it? We met her up there the next day. It was dusty. It hadn't been used in years. But she handed us the key, and the next thing we know, we're moving toys in down there and building a toy store out in the middle of nowhere. You know how it sits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
So that was Christmas of 2019. We literally took all those toys and made a makeshift toy store in the middle of nowhere. Had money printed up from Warren Printing in the court and printed us up some Santa bucks. And we gave out 10,000 Santa bucks to the officer up there, the school resource officer. And he went around to the families and said, hey, congratulations, you just won a shopping spree to this Santa store down here on the highway. Nobody knows about it. It's a secret thing. But you get to go and make an appointment, and you get 1 hour to shop for whatever toys you want to get for your kid for Christmas. And you take this Santa bucks with you, and you spend this like real money. And that was it. That's how it was born.
Wow.
So when you and I were visiting, you were talking about how the way that it's handled, it gives people their dignity. Like, they don't feel like it's a charity. They don't feel like somebody is taking away.
That's one of the key elements of this whole thing. We want to build a toy store every Christmas so that the parent can come through and literally have a shopping experience. The parent or guardian. We want them to be able to take their time and not feel pressured.
Yeah.
And, as you said, with dignity, and feel like that they've won something. It's not a charity. I never, ever, ever want this to feel like, hey, you can't get your Christmas for your kids, so here's a bag of toys.
Yeah, so I've experienced this at on a military installation. Some will have these programs. I know on Fort Knox they actually have this because you'd be surprised, man. You could be an 06, a colonel in the Army, and have bad stuff happen. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, your household goods catch on fire, and then what do? You know what I mean? Now, they might be able to write a check and go do some things, wait for insurance to catch up and all that other stuff. But even down to the private ranks, or even in our own community, and that's some things that are hard to explain sometimes about the military. When I talk about military life on a military installation, it's literally like a small town community. You still have the same problems in a military uniformed community as you do in a hometown community, and without the heart and passion of people like you, Brian, doing what the work you're doing, there's a lot of people that would get passed over because they don't make arrangements, and you almost feel guilty for going and receiving a service like this. And I think it's brilliant how you guys are going about doing it, because these are Santa bucks.
You've won them.
You've won them, right?
Yeah.
And for me to go in a situation and put a Christmas present under the tree for my children or something, that has to be. I couldn't imagine how much joy do you get each year at the final stages of watching all this unfold.
It's enough to carry me all through the year, I can tell you that. And I can't wait to get started each year. But, it is the difference between, hey, here's a bag of toys for your kid, and, hey, here's 400 Santa bucks you won.
And you get to select the toys that are right for your child.
That's right.
Yeah.
How many people would you say that you're up to now servicing and providing this for in the community?
That first year we started, we were limited to Heath Washington Elementary School. We were able to give all the Santa bucks to Officer Mike at the time, and he distributed those out to the families. And I want to tell you that even after he was all said and done, there's still stuff left over at the store. Even after all those families have come through and have shopped and taken those things home for the kids for Christmas, there's still stuff left over. And that's when we reach out to say, local clergy or local community leaders.
So I want to go on that thought. So we get beat up all the time because we talk about our neighbors and not just Meade County. You service families in Meade County.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now that your operation, so any donations, if you're watching this podcast today and you feel like you want to make a donation, where would they go to donate to help contribute that?
Me.
Earlene Bohannon.
So, well, the messenger.
Okay.
And so So while I was visiting with Brian and Donna, his wife's name is Donna, and it came up that they do have a lot of families from Meade County, Kentucky that go across the bridge to their
Santa workshop.
And get toys.
Well, and we know some resource officers with the schools.
Absolutely. And so, and we're going to get into this just a minute, but this has been a slow year for them, and they're not up to the regular amount that they're supposed to be.
Right.
So I said to him, well, I'm going to start calling all my people and talking to my friends. We're going to write a story. It's going to be on the front page of the paper that's coming out this Thursday, so you guys can read about it.
Definitely got to read the story.
Yeah, you've got to. And there's so much more in that story than we're going to be able to share with our time crunch here. But I even said, look, if you want to give, you can give money, you can give toys. I was at lunch on Saturday, and a friend of mine said, my little girl got so many toys for her birthday. We didn't even let her open all of them. We've got them sitting on the shelf. I'll just bring you all of those. And I was like, I'll take them. And so if anybody wants to do that, it does need to be a new toy.
In the box.
Yeah, in the box or whatever
or wrap,
it came with. No, you don't.
I mean, like the plastic that came from the manufacturer.
Right. But don't wrap them up.
Unopened new toy.
Yeah,
unopened new toy.
And or money. If you were to give us any type of money, we will only use those to purchase toys.
Or we'll give them the check and let them go do it.
Exactly. Now, Brian, do tell us, you told me that at the end of each day that you guys take the monies that you get from selling stuff in the thrift store and you turn it over to the ladies at Squire Boone.
Yeah, our arrangement with Squire Boone Caverns is they provide the building that we operate out of. The manager there her name is Claudia. She's one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet in your entire life.
Right.
She is the main reason that we get to do this. Well, when we began this partnership with them 5 years ago, we actually were only going to use the building at Christmas time just so we could do the makeshift toy store to give away the toys. But then we started thinking, well, we need to fundraise for this all throughout the year,
Right.
Yeah.
Spring, summer, and fall, in order to have the kind of money that we need in order to build the toy store. So this being our 5th year, the first 4 years we did this, well, the first year we collected all the toys out in the parking lot, and then the next following 3 years, it came to be that we just began operating a pay what you want,
Right.
Donation only thrift store. That would be the engine for funding the toy store. So I tell people, first and foremost, we're a toy store at Christmas time. Secondarily, we are the thrift store, and that's how we fund this thing. So what we do is it's a pay what you can thrift store. We just gather up the money every week. We turn it over to Claudia. She puts it into our bank account, and then it just sits there all year long until the end of the year. At Thanksgiving weekend coming up here very soon. We strip out all of that thrift store stuff comes out of that store, and it goes down to empty room, and we build it all back with the toys that we go buy.
And it's beautiful. I've seen pictures of it.
Looks like Santa's Village.
It is incredible.
Brian, I would like for you to start with what you found out about yourself last year at this time when you were putting Santa's toy store together, and then explain to us why you've been unable to raise as much funds this year as you have the previous years.
Last year, as we were building back the toy store, and we had a truck parked out front, loaded down with toys, and we were carrying them in through the front door and stocking the shelves, the whole left side of my body went numb, and I knew what that was. Felt like I was having a stroke. We still waited till we got done with the toys, and then we took me to the hospital and got me to the hospital. But I was having stroke symptoms.
That's called being stubborn.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm guilty. But I had work to do.
I got you. God's work.
But we got to the hospital, and they said, Mr. Bailey, you have a large bleeding mass in your colon. That's it's causing you to lose so much blood. You don't have enough blood in you.
Oh no.
So what you're thinking was stroke symptoms were because there's not enough blood going up into your brain. So they
So
sent
you
me-
were not really having a stroke.
No,
It was a
no,
result
no.
of your cancer.
What it was something else pointing out the fact that I had a 7.2 centimeter tumor in my colon. And I was completely unaware.
Wow.
Completely unaware. But we began in January. We began treating it. I wanted to wait till after we got Christmas over with and got all the
So you
toys.
postponed your treatment until
Correct.
after the Christmas holidays.
Correct. Yeah, we wanted to make sure everybody had a good Christmas, and so then we put the focus on me. And so all this year, I had to go through chemotherapy, then through daily radiation, driving back and forth from Corydon to New Albany every day, and that takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes energy, and it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
So we went through all those treatments up until the end of June, and then there was some residual stuff after June. But what it really did is it ate into all of our time that we could be open.
So there
at
were
the
times that
store.
you had to have the store closed so
Yeah.
you could do your treatment.
So how much do you need to raise between now and November to keep the pace of what you committed to last year?
Normally, right now, this time of year, we've got about $12,000 to $15,000 in the bank, ready to go blow on toys, so that we
Okay.
can stock our store and give them.
I love
all
the way
away.
he said, just blow it.
I
Yeah,
know.
I got it.
It's what it is.
I know it. I got you.
We have fun with every
It's got to be
aspect
so
of
much
this.
fun to do that.
But so where we currently sit, I would have to get with Claudia and get you an exact number, but I would bet you there's maybe only 5,000 or 6,000 in there right now.
Oh, okay. So you're halfway, or it
not
may be short.
Now we do have we have some toys in our basement already that are waiting to come up, but it's maybe $1,000 worth of stuff. So I would say.
And do you have a lot of stuff in the thrift store that can be purchased right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
so
It's
somebody
packed.
could just go and start buying stuff and giving you donations.
So
packed.
yeah, I want to make sure that. So this is like you're going to Corydon, which I know a lot of y'all out there do on Sunday after church, or during the week if you make your trip up to Corydon. You have got to stop by the thrift store there, and it's like you're going to the caverns. It's literally on the right hand side of the road. It even says, I think it's got Santa on there or something.
It
Yeah,
has a big sign
yeah.
that says,
and that's the thrift store. So I
Right
know.
across from the junkyard.
oh, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I got you. Somebody's junk, another person's treasure, right?
Right.
So check them out. And if you're like me, and I know Earlene, we've talked about that. We love going thrifting. I mean,
Oh,
you can go to a Goodwill over here, a Goodwill over there, but
Or anywhere.
yeah,
Yard sales.
But these are so much fun to go to. Just as pick. And I grew up with American Pickers, out in Iowa when I was out there this one time. That's a different story. But go by and see them and invest some of your dollars there, or you can donate.
Or you can donate because Brian and Donna were telling me Lego is king. They want lots of Nerf toys, Barbie, anything Barbie, those little cars and all the accessories,
So Nerf darts.
bicycles, anything along those lines.
Okay.
Buy those. Everybody's going to start doing their Christmas shopping. A friend of mine, I've got two little godsons, and she's like, oh my gosh, everybody buys them gifts. It's too much. It's just too much gifts. So, one thing that you can say to the people that might over purchase for your own children, you could say, you know what? Why don't you just give my kid 2 gifts and maybe buy 5 or 6 toys and give them to the Santa workshop then?
Yeah. That's it.
It is actually become a normal thing you'll see a grandparent will just all of a sudden pull up out front and they'll have a car full of toys and 2 grandkids with them, and you
Very
find
good.
out that they've been out taking the grandkids shopping with the express intent of bringing those back to us and letting the kids bring it in and stock our shelves with the toys that
Nice.
just took
Oh,
off of
yeah.
somebody else's shelves.
Yeah.
I know
But
2
they
little
know-
boys that are going to do that this year.
They know when those toys, the
Yeah.
next person that touches them, they're going to be for a kid for Christmas. So it's very hands-on. People
Very good.
can be as active and involved as they want to be with us. We have everything is transparent. When you donate to us, you know exactly where it's going.
Well-
and up until now, we've kept it all. Well, the majority of it on that side of the river for Harrison County because that's who we were created for, and that's our.
Well, don't sell
birthplace.
yourself out of some donations for Meade County.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they
Yeah, yeah.
service families in Meade County,
Well, of course.
in
And
the
so
Brandenburg.
Meade County can take
Yeah, they're
boys
right
over
there. Listen, we're neighbors. Same with Fort Knox community, Radcliffe
Sure,
community.
sure.
They're neighbors. You get to Flaherty. Flaherty's close to Vine Grove. There's an overlap. We overlap, guys. We go shop at Corden, and they are our neighbors. We're building. Businesses and growth in Meade County, and it's just nice to know who your neighbor is. So, Brian, I'm so glad you came in here on the show today to share this testimony and your story. I think it's amazing what you're doing, and you've been 5 years strong. And you just gotta love when God puts an extra challenge in your way, and then all of a sudden something else just falls in your lap. Well, we are glad to fall in your lap, and we will help get the word out definitely about you and who you're serving. I'm already gears are burning to go talk to the resource officer.
I'm already thinking of. I'm making a list of all the people that I can talk to.
We definitely want to spread the love over across the river. Need knows no boundaries.
Yeah.
Sure.
We want, and we have been already sharing the love over here across the river. But we want to extend the invitation out. If there are families over here, there's certain protocols. We can't get bombarded with people saying, "Hey, help me, help me."
Yeah,
help
they
me.
need to go through a leadership.
No, I think your way of giving out the bucks, and we will work with our resource officers
Sure.
to make sure that it gets the right attention. So you're not, because time, right? You've already
Sure.
lost enough time. You don't need to go through a whole bunch of more time. But
and one thing we forgot to mention, not only did I have to go through my cancer, but now we've just discovered my wife has lung cancer, and so we're about to start all of that over again with her.
Yeah.
In fact, we go tomorrow to have her chemo port implanted into her chest so she can begin her chemo treatment. So we're still very much active and involved. We're trying to do as much as we can to keep it going, but we desperately need the community's help. And I feel like I can't come on here and ask Brandenburg or Meade County to help us out if we're not willing to give it back to
absolutely.
Meade
That's right.
County.
That's right.
So we're extending the offer out. If you guys are willing to help us, we're willing to give back to your community as much.
Well,
as
and
we
you're already
possibly
doing
can.
that according to the families that you were serving. So with the cross lap, Earlene, we've got so many things that are also going on coming up this weekend. The museum has a guest speaker coming out. If you didn't know, the Brandenburg History Museum, or the Meade County History Museum, I should say, has this Thursday, November the 7th, 5:30 p.m., author Eddie Price will be present. He'll be talking about the Ohio River heritage. And then on Saturday, the 9th, so there's so many cool things about being near a military installation, but this former Huey pilot that has like a bajillion hours of combat flight time in Vietnam, there's a new helicopter at the museum that had 3,000 hours of flight time, and 90% of those hours were all combat time for that Huey. But this gentleman's going to be here on Saturday, November the 9th at 2:30.
And they're going to have refreshments, and Jerry Fisher has invited the public, everybody to come by, and you can stop by and get something to drink, something to eat, and learn more about this helicopter pilot.
Absolutely. And then there's all kinds of stuff on the community calendar. I would encourage you that if you want to know what's going on in our area and surrounding communities, to get on, go get the newspaper, because if you want to know what's going on in the community, go grab a messenger.
Yep, and a teaser here, just listed on this week's community calendar that'll be out. There's stuff going on at Doe Valley that's open to the public. There's cosmic bowling going on. There's Stoles is having a thing. You want to pick that up and check out how to get involved with that. We have lots of stuff going on.
Top of the house tour, Stoles Country Store, music by Troy Brown from 12 to 2 p.m.
The shop is going to have a fun band there. There's just so much stuff going on. Speaking of Corden, they're going to have a Veterans Day parade. And so they're also doing another Christmassy thing over there called Garlands and Gifts downtown, because Corden's got a beautiful historic downtown area that is great. We just have so much going on. There's another thing. Make sure if you have a child at Stuart Pepper Middle School, especially if you have a 6th grade girl, they've just completed an undefeated season of basketball. And so we have a parent who generously gave us all the information about that. We got pictures to go with it, so that's a fun thing to look at. We're going to be busy in November anyway. November is National Adoption Month. It's when
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. We're going to talk about diabetes and Alzheimer's. We're going to talk about lung cancer. November is Lung Cancer Month. We're going to learn more about Native Americans and things we've gone through that. A really fun thing that the month of November is known for is Banana Pudding Month.
So, that is awesome. I love banana pudding.
I know you do.
And matter of fact, I had some at St. Mary's of Pisey this last weekend. If you missed the turkey feast, that was a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Anytime the churches are on here with their stuff, man, I encourage you to go. It's great fellowship with our neighbors and in the community. And in addition to what our churches are doing for the community, I would just let you know that, the Messenger is partnering also with Fort Knox to try to make sure that wreaths are on all of the grave sites. You can check us out on our website at themessengerky.com. Everything is now switched over to themessengerky.com. And I can't emphasize the reason why we've done that is because if I left the Meade County border up and I didn't break the border, not like our southern border to get into the United States, but if I didn't start including our neighbors, it would be a very difficult paper to continue selling. As many of you know, newspapers are dying off to bigger organizations, and then the community is gone from the newspaper.
Small newspapers like ours are being bought up by these huge
companies,
and they're not listing the local news. I mean, we're talking about the new Veterans Park that just opened over in Muldrow. I mean, that's going to be something
huge.
On the front page of the paper this week, Stephen Spahn, he wrote a wonderful story about the special needs classes at Barry Hahn and David T. Wilson and how they got to go trick-or-treating. And it was amazing. When you read that, when it came in, I thought, wow, I didn't realize how huge it was.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of homespun things that we get to talk about. These are the personal things that have to do with Brandenburg, have to do with Corden, have to do with Fort Knox, that directly affect Meade Countyans.
Yep.
And that's why we need to keep our paper the way it is now.
Final thoughts, just going to let you know on the website, the Messenger KY, there is a discount for an annual subscription. And your annual subscription, if you're an annual subscriber, you can also get the e-edition online. If you're an annual subscriber to the print, you can the digital would be included, but the new prices are up, and there is a discount to register for the news.
Is that till the end of the year?
It is. It goes. No, it's if you're a first-time subscriber coming on and you've never subscribed, or even if you were a long-time subscriber before and dropped off, and you want to resubscribe to the newspaper, there's a discount invite on the website. You will not be able to watch anything else past the front page unless you are at least have a login for the page. But if you want to see the e-edition and read the newspaper, you do have to have a subscription. But we invite you to check out the content and stay tuned, because we do deliver the news. You can chew it however you want to, and we'll leave our opinions to ourselves.
We do.
Except on the show. We'll
on the Earlene
but,
and Steven show, we'll talk about whatever.
Whatever.
If you guys have an idea that you want us to cover, just let us know, and we can have guests on. We can talk about it.
Might even do a call-in one time.
We are probably going to start doing some call-ins.
Last thought. If somebody tells you that somebody lied and you should listen to them, make sure they're not lying too. So
make sure the lie is not a lie.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Because people will tell you a lie and say, after all, you should listen to me. And that's just not good. All right. You guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. We love you out there. And again, all the news, that's the news across the nation.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.